Okay, so one of the biggest questions that I always get from people launching their businesses or trying to get their branding going is the difference between logo design and brand identity. Now, I know there's lots of videos out there on this topic. There's lots of articles and so on and so forth. But I wanted to address it the same so that I can give you my insights into the differences between a logo design and a brand identity. Now, a logo design is your primary brand mark, right? It identifies your business, your entity, or your venture with a single kind of touch point. It represents, it's just like your name, right? So, like you have a name, but your name is not, it does not describe you entirely. So you have a name, and then you have your personality, you have your quirks, all that makes up you. And that is the brand identity. A brand identity includes your logo design, but it also has other kind of attributes that make the brand a whole. So these include, of course, the primary brand mark, which is the logo design. It could also include secondary brand mark, an official brand pattern, your color palettes, your typography, even the tone and voice of your brand, of your messaging. So all these things together form the brand identity. Let me show you a couple of examples and walk you through the different kind of assets of a brand identity system. Okay, so as I said, your brand identity system is made up of several different assets. The first one is the primary brand mark, right? So here in this case, you can see this is a primary brand mark. Then you have the secondary mark, which is again a different, it could be derived from the primary mark, or it could be an independent one. And I gave this example in one of my previous videos where we looked at the Indian fashion brand, Allegory, and how you have the primary brand mark here, and then you have the secondary brand marks here, right? This could be a secondary brand mark. Again, this one is derived from the primary one. Then you have, of course, the color palette. The color palette dictates the different kinds of colors used in your brand. This could be the primary colors and the secondary colors. As you can see here, you got the color palette and also color tints. Now each brand should have a primary color that it can own, along with complementary and supporting colors that can be used in different scenarios of branding, of marketing, and so on and so forth. So it's very important that you have a color palette that's been nailed down. Then you have, of course, the typography. The typography is the fonts that are used for representing your brand. And of course, the typography could be a part of your logo, which is the primary mark, right? So it could be made up of that, but you also have secondary and kind of supporting typographies, supporting fonts that you used for other uses. And these uses could be, of course, headings, the text you use on your website, on your marketing materials, and so on and so forth. And of course, there is a hierarchy in terms of the typography in your brand. This hierarchy is what kind of fonts do you use for your primary assets, things that represent importance. And then you have supporting fonts that are used for other aspects of your marketing. And you could also have iconography, right? So icons, custom-made icons that are unique, and when someone looks at them, it creates that kind of connection. It creates that consistent look and feel for your brand. Then you have grid systems, right? How your logo is placed, where it is placed, how your secondary mark is placed, and so on and so forth. And that ensures you have consistency. Now, consistency is very important, and it creates that kind of recall. For example, here, you could see that the primary mark is being used as a watermark on the back of the business card, right? Or even the front. Then you have the secondary mark being shown here on the business card. Again, on the envelope here, we're using the icon, the primary icon, as a watermark. And again, on the letterhead, you can see here, the official pattern is being used behind the primary icon. And again, here, it's being used on the t-shirt or on packaging. Now here, of course, the entire logo is being used. So, typography, and then you have visual brand extensions. Now, visual brand extensions are not just icons, but also the official brand patterns, as I was just showing you here. These are visual brand extensions. Then you have the brand tone. The brand tone is made up of, your elevator pitch, your positioning statement, your vision and mission statements, your brand's tagline, your press releases, your social media communications, your blog posts and articles, and your communication style, right? These are made up, these make up your brand tone. So, as you can see, your logo, of course, forms the first kind of access point to your brand. But there are many other things that play a significant role in creating this brand recall, or rather the impression that people get with your brand when they come in contact with it. So if you're just going to have a primary logo or just a logo design and then move on to your marketing, I think you'll find it difficult to create that brand recall. So my recommendation to anyone either launching a brand right now, or even if they already have a brand and are thinking of improving their brand and maybe escalating kind of brand recall, creating this connection with their audience to increase sales and revenue, I would say get a complete brand identity system. Okay, so a brand identity system would really elevate the brand. It will take it to the next level. Right? If you just have the logo design, it's pretty good. Yeah, have a professional logo, it goes a long way. But having a brand identity actually takes it to the next level. So remember, your logo design, your secondary brand mark, your official brand pattern, your color palettes, your typography, your brand tone and voice, your brand extensions, all these things together make up the brand identity. And having a robust and consistent brand identity will actually elevate your brand to the next level. It'll help you connect with your target audience. It'll help you kind of create a consistent brand image and express your brand, which means you're creating a connection with your target audience, which means, of course, that it leads to increased brand awareness, brand recall, and finally, of course, sales and revenue. Okay, I've used the word brand maybe 100 times in this video, but I'm just trying to give you all the different words, because when you know the words, you then know what to do next, right? So even though it's a lot of jargon, it helps you formulate an opinion of what a brand identity is. All right, I hope that helps you with taking your brand to the next level. Till the next video, take care.